and we're live. So, hey, Tom, Here we are. We're doing a live stream thing.
Did we really? I don't think we've ever done that before.
So, hi, everybody. I'm Rand Hoppy. I'm the executive director of the Jack Kirby Museum.
And I'm Tom Kraft, the president of the Jack Kirby Museum.
And here we are. We're still recovering from our 3 days for 103 birthday, Jack Kirby's 103rd birthday celebration. Man, that was great. And thank you so much to everybody who participated and everybody who joined us and watched us and made comments. And wow, go to YouTube or go to Facebook or whatever. We consider YouTube our archive, so that's kind of the place where we want people to go. We've had to take some of the videos down in order to edit them a little bit because there was a little like glitches and trouble and hilarious moments
that we don't want to repeat.
That don't need to be part of the lasting record, So so keep that in mind. So and the point is that we are going out live to Facebook and Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on Twitter with Periscope. So great to see you here. Welcome. And we're going to start off with our Jack Kirby's Fourth World at 50 series, where we're trying to cram in all of Jack's Fourth World comics.
We have to September 21st.
Yeah, we're like running out of time because I kind of thought we might do it during the weekend, but yeah, that wasn't happening.
No.
So
we might have to cram like near the end and have like 3 a week.
do an overview. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, the big one is Mr. Miracle that has like the last 6 issues.
That's true.
Or 7 issues, right?
Yeah,
7 issues.
We could kind of do like here's the non-Fourth World Mr. Miracle comics and kind of chug through them all in one sitting. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
That'll help us spend more time with the Hunger Dogs. And what was the name of it? Every God Must Die?
Yeah, that was what was that in? That was DC something or other, and it was New Gods number 6, suppose.
Yeah, the second edition, the second
edition, because they had the Baxter reprints, and this was the one that ended it.
That's right. Hey, Leonardo on Facebook, good to see you. Thank you for the old thumbs up. We appreciate any comments, so feel free to make comments in the chats on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. They do end up getting. The fancy thing would be to say they get imported here, but I like saying slurped. They get slurped over into this screen that we're using, and then we can see them and respond or just enjoy your comments. So, all right. So I'm gonna start moving on. So here are all the. Wow, it looks like I skipped something. Yeah, I left some out. Oh well. So here's a whole bunch of the stuff that we did. Our last episode was a week ago, the night before the extravaganza weekend.
The 3-day extravaganza.
And we did 3 issues of Jimmy Olsen. It was hilarious. I mean, Don Rickles, whatever. But yeah, so we're gonna do issue 7, and those comics are not in the order that we are going to do them in. Go figure. It's all random sometimes. There's chaos here.
It's called life.
So, here we go. Let's take a look at where do we go first? Yeah. There's the logo for our event. So just in case you don't recognize it, we did that. So here we are, Mr. Miracle number 7. Visit Apokolips and die. Only a fool or a super being would try. You pin the label on Mr. Miracle. Oh boy, yeah, well, that's fun. It's kind of a cool cover.
Well, I don't know if you have it in here, but they have alternative.
Yeah. Okay, so so one of the fun things that we have that we with the family, the Kirby family's pencil photocopy collection that we have. So here's a photocopy of Jack's pencils, and we've done this before in some of our other ones, but you get to see that there was a photocopy before he put the words on it and the X number, etc. So I don't know. It's kind of cool to see that, I think. But yeah, lovely. I actually, I think it's kind of a cool cover. But then, Tom,
Da, da, da.
there it is.
Now, I personally like this cover so much better.
It is a really good cover. What the heck?
I remember seeing this when it was for sale in San Diego back in 19, probably 99 or 2000. And I just looked at it and it's like, it was really expensive. And I said, oh man, I can't afford this. I really wanted it.
No, it's very nice. And it's interesting that it didn't get.
But what's interesting too is that in the actual story, Barda was not watching.
Oh, huh.
But,
so what happened?
It doesn't mean anything.
Well, she's on the cover too, on the real one.
Right,
yeah.
right. But Barda
wasn't
are,
watching. Not necessarily exactly reflective of stories. They can be thematic.
What do people out there think? Which cover do you like? Just chat.
Yeah. We're not gonna create a poll, but do you like the one that didn't get used even more than the one that did get used? So there it is. Let us know. So here we are. Oh yeah, the Apokolips Trap.
You can almost hear him screaming.
Yeah. Oh,
and
man.
These guys are the harassers, and their job is really to harass people, like their names.
Yeah. And they are on Apokolips.
It's a beautiful panorama of Apokolips with Darkseid statue, stone face.
Yeah.
Towering over everybody and everything.
Yeah. It's pretty great. They're just shove them out. The welcoming squad's all set to start shaping them up. Oh boy.
Charles, hi Charles. What, you guys are live again?
So here's the original art, which is nice to have. Great scan.
That's beautiful.
Cool to see. Yeah.
It actually looked, it was picked up a little bit in Hunger Dogs, this whole kind of environment. A lot.
Yeah.
But this is the only time I think in the series where you really see a lot of Apokolips.
True. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and there's
seems like everybody likes the unpublished version of the cover.
All right. Andrew on Facebook in Australia, right, Andrew? Good to see you. So then the worms come out. Youngsters.
And their job is really to beat them down, get them in line. Very depressing, very violent.
And Granny.
And where's his name? What's his name? The
Hugin?
Guy that's Hugin. Hugin was it's interesting because Hugin was involved, which I assume we're gonna see later in Scott Free's escape. It went past him. And so he was demoted down to harasser, but he used to be more in charge. And then Granny Goodness had to punish him for letting Scott Free go.
Okay, that makes sense. It's 9 a.m. in Australia.
Tomorrow.
Okay. So you're right. So we're there. There's all this is going on, and then hello, here we are. We're back on Earth, and basically Scott and Barda are saying farewell. We must go.
Good. Because they have to go. Well, they feel they have to go.
They feel they must go.
Yeah. They have to go back to Apokolips because he wants. So Scott Free escaped from Apokolips, and he wants to go back and validate his freedom, basically.
Right.
In order to do that, and there's rules that Darkseid set up, so he could go through a process of basically dealing with them, and if he comes out okay, then he can come back to Earth, and he'll be free of all the craziness that he's been experiencing in the previous issues.
Yeah. That's cool. Oh, it's photocopy time.
Oh, what is that?
Hey, that's nice.
So photocopies. Jack got a photocopier thanks to his son Neil back in around 72-ish, I guess. And so it's an old process that uses some kind of liquid. Like the sheets are like kind of chalky white on the front and kind of like glossy yellowish on the back. However, they're not the best types of photocopies that we have nowadays, since they're not on archival paper. So they eventually will start fading. So we have approximately 8,500 of these, and we've scanned them all so that digitally they'll last forever.
Right. And it's the original art, the work of Mike Royer, lettering, inking, very nice. Oh, and then it's the mega spread. So
the mega spread.
Mega dun. It's nice to see them all lined up like that. All right. So then, why do you have to go?
Yeah, I think, Andrew, you're right. It's like a sense of unrestricted creativity. I think in issue 6, 7, and 8, he just hit his stride. It was just incredible stories, well thought out, just really good stuff. It took a while to get going in the earlier issues to establish everything, but now they're great. Just incredible stuff.
Especially when the page counts opened up, when he suddenly was like telling like 24, 25, 26
yeah,
page stories.
Right.
Wow. It's like, wow, just so.
And these are great shots of Barda there because it shows her having a little bit of a soft side, trying to act like a military female, and then, hugging Oberon like in the last panel on the left side. It's a really nice, touching thing that gives another aspect to Barda's personality.
All right. Okay, so the Mega Rod. Take hold of the Mega Rod. All right, here we go.
Yep, that's right, Charles. It's a Thermofax copier, we believe.
Right. Oh, wow, look at that. Huh. Better than the boom tube.
I don't know why Oberon tries to go back in, but I didn't understand why. But he said, don't go, but then...
Yeah. He's going to be lonely.
And they use the Mega Rod instead of Barda's Mega Rod instead of a boom tube because it's more efficient.
Yep. Stand fast. Stay where you are. Right.
I know, it's fun. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said something like he has a lot of personality in a small package.
Oh man. Yeah, he took so she's kind of like wielding her uniform. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just basically harassing the guy, but
yeah.
And then they hijacked
takes down a wall, hijacks a carrier.
And right, it's interesting because you can see like the people on Apokolips and how they've been they're just basically the anti-life equation. And then they mentioned that it's the dark side manufactured the anti-life equation and knows because he can do that it exists. And that's why he's trying to get the real thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yep. And then we have Crash.
Then we have a new character
He's new today. He's new in this issue.
Yes. And Mr. Miracle doesn't even know who he is either. It was the first time he met him, and Bart as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the assassin,
right?
Yeah.
Weapon
Kanto?
master, assassin, Kanto.
Kanto.
Yeah. Kind of a fun costume.
Yeah, he studied Earth history, like a lot of these characters.
Right.
It's funny because you got to remember that from a cultural context, this was taking place in 72-ish. And, you had the subculture, the hippies and everybody were dressing with cowboy hats and trying to they had all interesting costumes and stuff. So I wonder sometimes if that influenced Jack to think about this race of gods that studied, because he mentions that he studied Earth over the years and try to copy their costumes and their ways and so forth.
Oh, and then here we go. Yeah. The scene from the cover.
Pretty much, but you notice Bart is not there.
Right. And
he does yet another trick with his shoe.
That shoe.
He did that in the last issue where he was headed through this car wash type thing. And they're trying to bash him and kill him.
Right.
He's got very fancy shoes.
That's where I hide all my good stuff. Right. It's a fibroid cocoon. Mm-hmm. So that's how he did it. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Charles. That's a good point. Yeah. It's like two opposing ideas, So Scott gets out. Oh, now he's getting dragged.
Yeah, it's interesting because when he's getting dragged, it first reminded me of Commandy number 14, where Commandy gets dragged just like that.
Mm.
Interesting that he's used it a couple times.
Right.
But then I don't understand here because he makes not a deal, but he plays him up, Kanto, and to the point where he lets him have the Mega Rod and bows, and then because he knows he's going to see Granny Goodness.
Yeah. That is pretty interesting. He is a master of intrigue.
And he's basically saying that you must be bored with all this stuff, seeing my bruises and stuff like that. So more or less you have better things to do with your time than try to kill me. So here's a Mega Rod. You go off. I know Granny Goodness will have you and kill you. Right. So I don't have to deal with you anymore.
Right.
And then he finds him.
The harassers are still harassing.
Yeah, they were on a transport. Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. And there's Hugin.
Yep.
He's
Scott free.
You've got that whacked out costume from Earth, but I recognize the voice. And then what happens?
This is funny because Granny Goodness is not feeling well. And look at her. I mean, it's just crazy with the bonnet and all that. It's just hysterical.
I know. Yeah.
She gets a call from Hooligan on her
Oh yeah.
Apple Watch.
She FaceTime call from
FaceTime,
Hogan.
yep, Apple Watch.
And oh yeah. She's looking forward to that day.
Yep.
And
she's
then
been
this
looking
happens.
forward to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Miracle and the lump.
Because she has him planned to go to Section 0 where no one returns, and everybody's afraid to go there.
Yes.
Because of the lump.
He's lumpy. He's lumptastic.
Yeah, we get to see how lumpy he is in the next issue. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, folks. Yeah.
Probably Sunday.
So that's right. Yeah. We got to do our best. Try to do it. We'll set it up. So there's pencil photocopy with some interesting like pencil additions. I think like I don't even know. Is that?
Did you read through this and see if there's any change? Because I can see that has. Yeah, there is changes. I can tell.
Oh, no, that has ever taken place.
No, that's right.
No,
it's in there. It looks like it's the same.
Yeah, I don't know whose handwriting that is. Whether that's Jack's or maybe Greg Theakston's or somebody else's. But yeah, that's
Greg Theakston's? Why would it be Greg Theakston's?
Well, because it's on the photocopy. I don't know.
Oh, it is. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's a pencil. Yeah. It's actual. So there's the photocopy, and then there's pencil handwriting on the photocopy. Right?
Huh.
I don't know. It could be Jack's. All right, so there we go. There's our mega side by side. You're welcome. And then we move on to this incredible thing from the a very poor photocopy that we have, and I imagine this art is out there somewhere in somebody's collection.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Right?
I've never seen it. I've seen thousands of pages. I've never seen that.
So as far as we know, this is like the info page from a Barda and Female Furies series pitch. And I wish I go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's interesting because it has the head guy at the bottom, which doesn't appear to issue 11. So in
Mr. Miracle, like he had the idea. He was like, yeah, here are some of the villains the Female Furies are going to meet. And it's like, well, that didn't happen. But yeah, that head guy was kind of all right. But in that upper left panel there is I'll wiggle my mouse over there. So this is the lump.
Yeah, the lump looks totally different. So this must have been, and Barda looks like it's earlier as well. Yeah. So this must be, and you'll see when we get to the next one, it might have been part of a pitch that he was doing to have since you don't see Mr. Miracle and you see this Apollo character, which never appeared as far as I know, it might have been part of a pitch that Jack was doing for Big Barda and, a special separate
on their own
series. Yeah.
I mean, Barda and Gals run Beauty Rock on the upper right there. But what was amazing, I'll never forget looking at these like scans of this and messing around in Photoshop and being on the phone with John Morrow, trying to figure out what that writing was in the upper right. And we did it. I mean, we really, but do I have it at hand? Can I read it to you? All I remember is that the lump was very powerful, and and Jack wrote something about that he has a I can't make it out here, but he has a inferiority complex.
Really? That's funny.
So yeah, there's the Female Furies and the lump, and here is that cool piece.
The cover that never was, the series that never was.
Yeah.
I mean, they did do a series eventually, the Female Furies, about a year ago. Yeah. But I would have loved to see a Big Barda series. Hopefully someday that'll happen. Get a good artist and writer.
Lashina and Stampa. and I forget the other ones. Mad Harriet.
Mad Harriet. Yeah, that's another one.
There's another one I'm missing. We're gonna move on. Oh, and there's that. Yeah.
So in 2000 and what's that say at the bottom? I don't have my glasses. 11. Yeah, I commissioned Mike Royer to, and actually another great artist, Frank Fosco, to do to take the cover and fill it in, and they added all the characters. Like Mad Harriet in the background was just a circle for a face, and kind of completed the whole thing. So it's just
and
pretty cool.
So Charles talks about Lump prefiguring Carcass from the Eternals, which is interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, also shares Bernadette, which I
Bernadette, yeah,
was like
that's right,
Desaad's cousin or something like that, or
she's in the corner to the left.
Yeah, Bernadette. What a great name!
But it's interesting because Mike totally changed it and took the costume from the issue we just looked at, her costume.
Right. That's lovely. It's lovely.
A little busy on the top, but it is what.
Well, that's why coloring can be your friend
if done properly.
And then we have this lovely young Scott Free story.
Oh, this is great. I love this splash. It's just great. We don't have the art to this, do we?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I looked. I didn't see it. It's too bad because it's a really beautiful splash.
Yeah, it sure is.
So these are the early days. Pretty much the story has to do with him finding out that he could do like escape artist kind of stuff when he was younger.
Right.
These are the Parademons.
Mm-hmm.
And all the recruits it's almost like the harassers in the story.
Yeah.
they basically try to harass them and cut them down and all that kind of stuff. But Scott is really smart, and he has some kind of electric thing that prevents that really blows them up, kind of charges them up. So it's a nice little vignette of like the early days of Scott Free before he left.
He escapes, and I think this is. I don't believe this is the first time we're seeing the phrase "arrogant whelp." I think it's used that before. Yeah, it's very nice.
And then he does a maneuver where he looks like he's going to go into this power plant thing and flips at the last moment.
Right.
But the Parademon didn't.
Well, he didn't need anything hidden in his shoes this time, so that's good.
It's kind of interesting in the last panel when they say, "How did you do it?" Kind of like the recruits.
Yeah.
It's a big contrast from, I think it was the last issue it was 2 issues ago, where he's getting punished and all those recruits were like beating him up, and at the end he was the one that was beaten up. And this one, he's the one that isn't beaten up, and all the other ones are, which is kind of contrast.
Yeah. Well, it's a great little story. Oh, we have letters pages.
Anybody special here that you recognize?
Not that I recognize anyone, but we have the ad for Kirby Unleashed. I think Mark and Steve, when Mark Evanier and Steve Sherman talked on YouTube, there's a video there, and I believe they talk a little bit about Kirby Unleashed.
Assembling.
Why this ad is in this comic book, which is interesting. Okay, and we're on the Forever People. And
this is one of my favorite personal issues because I like time travel and stuff, and I like Civil War and all that kind of stuff, and it's really interesting. I remember getting this when I was a teenager as reprints.
It was one of my favorite back issues when I first started, because I was live with Commandy, and then I knew that this stuff was, good, and this was just a really great story. Oh, hello. Bad guys side by side. No, lots of
Yeah, they did a lot of repositioning. So
yeah,
in a lot of cases, DC, Jack would submit the art, Mike would ink it, and then they'd bring it there and they'd do the production work. And in some cases, it wasn't the right proportions, and they needed to add more space at the top.
right.
So they would cut out all the pieces, add the stats at the top, and then paste that all onto another piece of board.
Not that much bigger. All right. It's actually, I mean, we've seen a lot of the coloring on the Kirby covers doing this series, and where they've done like the weird white thing and the red thing, and this one actually kind of works for some reason for me. I don't know why. The green of those characters.
Well, it looks like he had some kind of like edge to the divider in the middle.
Oh yeah, look at that.
They got rid of and just made it a straight line.
Boring.
And I don't know if Jack would have envisioned it colored a different color at the top, and then
yeah,
especially with that border that goes around it. I would imagine yes. Yeah, and we heard on a couple podcasts that Jack wasn't happy with the way DC was coloring his books.
All right, what's next? All right, yeah.
I'll find you in yesterday.
Where are they? What happened? They got zapped by the Darkseid's Omega beams, right?
Yes, we learned that in the last our last show. So if you want to go back at some point. Yeah, so they got zapped and they got sent to various locations in time.
Yeah.
And
except Seraphan, who ended up going back to the Super Cycle just outside of Godfrey's revival tent.
Yeah.
All right.
With the Justifiers.
Yes. Yeah. So that's looking great. Oh man. I wonder if Mike did that paste up on the lettering on the top.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I assume so, but I don't know.
He might have actually inked Jack's wonky little border there, and DC decided they didn't like it.
That could be the case, because he would generally be faithful about those border type things.
That's right.
And as you can see, again, this is another case like the cover where everything is cut up and then repositioned and then pasted on top of another board.
Right. It's beautiful. And here we go. Yeah. So
basically, Highfather is getting slack from all the young people about the Forever People. They found out about it through Metron, and Metron's standing next to Highfather there. Right. And they want them to do something wants him to do something about it.
And it's also kind of like he, Highfather takes the advice of the youths, right? Isn't that one of the...
He doesn't at this point until, what's his name, Isaac?
Isak.
Isak talks to him. I'm sorry, Isak, yeah.
And then,
it's interesting. It has like a gap at the top middle. And I saw a scan of it someplace fairly recently, and they had it restored.
Somebody had it restored, yeah. That's just some...
those floating gods in the top left. Those statues are just
great.
beautifully rendered and just really impressive. These great panorama vistas.
One of the youngest of New Genesis, what do you have to add against your edicts, my edicts? Save our friends.
So he convinces them.
Yeah.
And then we have them arriving in Civil War era.
Yeah.
Beautiful Dreamer and what's his name? Moonrider?
Mark Moonrider, yeah.
Moonrider.
Mega side by side.
Mega side by side. We should put an echo on that, you know.
We just have a little recording.
Yeah, just press it, you know, like like some of those cheesy radio shows from the past.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It is really. I like the black and white. It's just beautiful. Dreamer is so beautiful, of course, and just really beautiful. This whole issue to me is just incredible.
So what? They're in the theater. What? Oh,
we're
look,
lucky
they're in the theater with President Lincoln.
Yep.
Oh, ow.
He calls him an old. She calls him an old tired. He looks like he's an old tired man or something like that.
Oh man, yeah.
And look, they at the bottom left, they get into costume. It's just
right. It's an illusion created by Dreamer.
And there we have Lincoln. There it is.
Yeah. So they get up and leave. And then we have Viking.
And we're lucky to have this complete issue in, I think, in photocopy and in original art, except for the spread in photocopy.
Right.
But we have the full thing. It's it's a treasure to look at, and hopefully someday it'll be in the online digital archive.
That's right. And he ends up. Where does he end up? Oh, he's with Ponce de Leon in Florida. Fair enough. Hot and humid.
Doesn't this plot anticipate bicentennial battle? In a way, because they go back in time, but obviously the theme is a little different because it's not America and discovering America and all that, but it is.
Oops.
Excuse
me. All right, and then Big Bear pops out. Hello. Where does he end up?
Roman times.
Medieval dawn man. Celtic or Saxon emergence. Get ready.
You can't understand him until he adjusts his translator.
Ah, yes.
It's called Google.
It's called Google Translate. And then he takes, he's like, oh boy, there's a fight ahead against the Romans. Arta, there's Arta. This is great. Big Bear takes their weapons, throws them in a tree.
Because it's violent.
Right? Come on. And then we get this beautiful splash. It's so cool.
Yeah, the Romans are leaving, I guess,
ancient Britain.
Yeah. Ancient Britain.
And then we cut to Godfrey. Yeah, and outside his area where his
Justifiers are.
His tent is. The Justifiers are there, and there's Seraphan and the Super Cycle.
Yep.
And hello. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Right on. Yeah. Then the Cycle fights back. Seraphan's like, cosmic cartridge, eh? Check this out. It's a new Genesis whelp.
Yeah, he likes the word whelp in this. I've never heard anybody use it in language. Talking language. I think it usually refers to some type of younger animal of some type. Is that what?
Yeah, it's like I think it's a dog.
Yeah.
And the Super Cycle,
And then he uses a device. I forget the name in the last page, but then Alpha Bullet, and it caused a rock slide and encapsulates it. But there's a slight flash of light right before it happens. Oh, it's a puppy. That's what Charles.
A puppy.
Just go back for a second.
Oh, if I must, yes. What do you got?
So the last two panels, what I find interesting is that you see Godfrey's hand and then you see Highfather's hand.
Yeah.
And this seems to be a reoccurring theme that Jack did a lot, especially like when you get to 2001, picking up on the movie, having, like the ape throw the bone and it turns into the space shuttle type thing.
Right.
But he does this in a couple places in these issues. I mean, in the Fourth World in general. I think we had another one a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, the Chamber of Regeneration.
I don't know what that is, but sounds good.
He can sense all the team. And he's going to be able to gather them in with alpha bullets to counteract the Omega effect.
Of course. You must.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And they're just about to get, what's his name? Booth? Something Booth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right when they're about to do something, then they get transferred. Yeah. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
It's too bad. And he attributes it to hallucinations.
Uh-oh, hang on a second.
What?
All right. Yep. Yeah. And then he's like, now of course I must it makes me even have more fortitude. I'm gonna make it happen.
Farewell, Abraham Lincoln.
And then this is just hilarious.
It's funny. It seems like Jack really enjoyed Big Bear and as a comedy relief kind of thing. He's just sitting back there watching them struggle to try to get the swords out and everything. It's great.
Yeah. And of course, Arta ends up pulling one out because Big Bear smacks it.
Is it? It's supposed to be like King Arthur kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. I just wasn't 100%
sure. That's the fun thing. After it was pretty, dramatic with the Lincoln thing, and then you get to some comedy, and he's with the conquistador Ponce de Leon,
and they're trying to find gold, and he found gold, and they're about to kill him because they said they were going to sooner or later kill him, regardless if he finds gold or not.
Yeah, and then the alpha bullets up, and then what happens?
Oh, they were. Yeah. He notices that there's a big chamber underneath, and right when he leaves, they all fall down into the chamber. But it's full of gold, supposedly.
And they had a.
Here's something from Charles again.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Right. So there's a Super Cycle and Seraphan.
They're all back together again.
Then what?
Well,
that's great ending.
Well, the light that they saw.
Right.
Actually transported Seraphan to Japan, to this place where the mother box was.
Right.
And he was told, because Sonny Somo went back in time as well, but he stayed there. He never came back. And if you looked at the last issue, he had the anti-life equation with the help of Mother Box.
Right.
So it's really a nice ending.
Yeah.
It's somebody who escaped Darkseid and lived a life, because if you look at it's a nice continuation, because if you look at the last story, he was very frustrated in today's world. He wanted, because it was all commercial and they were making money off of him. So this was a great end to his life kind of thing.
It was a nice story arc for Sonny.
Yeah.
And then
Lonar.
It's Lonar time. Yeah.
And this is a continuation again from the previous issue, number 6.
Yeah.
So in the previous issue, Lonar discovers he's deep into New Genesis. He likes living on the land where most people live in Supertown, which is a floating city that circles New Genesis.
Yep.
But he went down into the caves and discovered this battle horse. So this picks up where that left off.
And that's one great, really amazingly drawn horse.
Yes. Battle horse. Not just a horse.
All right.
But it's interesting because Orion is he's excited by the horse and respectful of the horse, and they both are respectful of each other because the horse can sense that he's also a warrior. But then when he touches it, it bolts back because they kind of like it feels his anger and his rage, and it just basically rears up and they run away because Lonar has no control of the horse and starts running away. And pretty much like Orion realizes that the last panel about fear, that everybody fears him. It's always so.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
That is very true.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's something important, right?
Yeah. And then
there's the art.
Yeah.
I don't think we had the photocopies of this. I always wondered what my suspicion is somebody took them out or something.
Yeah.
Out of the family collection. I heard also that sometimes Jack would sell things, Roz or Mike Thibodeau, and sometimes offer the photocopies. So we do have gaps in our photocopies. We don't have complete of everything, of course, but there are gaps like this, unfortunately.
We have some letters page, and again, another Kirby Unleashed ad.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this.
Boy, this alone could take up at least two shows.
I know we could have,
Unfortunately, we don't have the summer's running out, so we have to put it with the other two.
we can do something. I mean, it's such a great issue. I mean, there are some of these issues where we could actually have special shows where we go into more depth. We could invite Charles to join us, for like a full-length episode about nothing but the Pact or the Glory Boat, or invite other people. We could have a round table about some of these issues.
Sure,
I think that would be a great idea. So
I think that would be too. Hey, Charles, are you game?
We're gonna. We did talk about featuring the demon in October, right? For
Halloween.
Like Halloween. So there's that. But we these things are fun and we love them, and we hope we'll be done with the Fourth World soon. So then we'll move on and do other things. All right. Yes. Yeah. Well,
the Christmas.
What's that? The Christmas show. All right. So let's. The great mystery is explained. Here we go. All right. I mean, this cover. It's such a cool cover. Not awesome on the coloring though.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of I like blue and yellow and red together, but I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't do much for me.
No,
I especially don't. I don't like the flames in the background, particularly those green flames. It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and so here we go. So this is as Jack says, from time to time, this kind of segment will supplement the larger tapestry of the New Gods.
It's interesting because, like, in the beginning, it's kind of like the Bible and all that kind of stuff, and the first issues of the New God, it seems like that's a theme where they try to do these epilogues and try to make it more into a literary kind of experience than than the other 2 titles. 3 titles.
Yeah. So here's Isaiah, the Inheritor, and Avia hanging. Birds, flowers.
They're on Apokolips, just hanging out in the beautiful green world.
Or on they're on New Genesis, right?
I'm sorry, New Genesis. Yes, sorry. It wouldn't be green.
Yeah. So then, mega side by side.
And again, it looks like it was cut up again and repositioned and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if Jack wasn't drawing it properly for the cover and the page 1, but it seems like it's a pattern here.
I really have the feeling that Mike did that lettering, did that border again, and then they cut it out.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, that's a question. Maybe Mike can look at that and say.
Yeah, maybe because we've looked at this page with Mike before, and he's commented about the flowers, or I think he called them shrubs or something. But I think he's talked about the foliage on this page. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I would say in general, as we've said before, that he was not making edits like that he would add, he would ink that and include it. So it's probably something DC did. And then there's trouble.
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
Which if anybody ever saw the what was Justice League, the Steppenwolf, it had nothing to do with this version of him at all.
I actually, when that movie came out, I was like, Steppenwolf, he's the villain. I created like a little blog post, and I think I tweeted it out, and Facebooked it out. I'm like, look at the real Steppenwolf. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
We got no traffic.
Well, especially the way they used Mother Box in it. It was just really weird. Yeah. That was their opportunity to really carry the theme forward, and it wasn't good.
No. So they attack. New Genesis has been invaded by these troublemakers.
And I wonder in the left side, the right panel, that dark figure in the back, if that's Darkseid. But I'm not sure.
Careful, uncle. Yeah, Steppenwolf is his uncle. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Oh man, arrogant dog. Oh boy. And Avia's flying.
And this device that he has is just so cool. And Metron made the device.
Oh,
and this
really?
Is all, this is all like or Destad made the device. I'm sorry, not Metron.
All right, yep. The killing gloves.
The killing gloves, right. And he was kind of surprised, Steppenwolf was surprised that Destad would do something that kills because he likes living beings so he can torture them.
He can torture and control. Oh, yeah, Destad, yeah.
But isn't that a cool device? It's like, oh my god,
glove, the killing glove, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And look at Darkseid's face at the bottom.
Yeah.
And the bottom left of the right page. It's just this is all figured out. He's a planner. He plans long term. Darkseid does. So this is all from, in the ranks to be what he is now. Everything was figured out.
Yeah.
Which is really amazing. And they leave him for dead, and Darkseid says, "Well, he's dead," and Steppenwolf believes him. And there's a reason why they just leave him there. And Steppenwolf and Darkseid says he's dead, but is he dead? I guess we'll find out
in a moment as we take a little tour into the mega sideways.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. Oh man, that is a really great panel there on the top, and it's a great page, and brutal, killing, violence stuff. So eloquent. Brutal, killing, violence stuff. But yeah, it's cool. And then, yep,
It's one of my favorite spreads.
fighting time. Yeah.
So the war escalates, and they call it the Great Clash.
Yeah.
And it gets really nasty, including that they like infest New Genesis with like these biological creatures that end up living in cracks and cracks inside the planet. And I think that's a little foreshortening for the bug and all that whole story that follows later.
One of your classic Jack Kirby guy looking at the viewer and screaming or something down the bottom there. He did that a lot.
Yeah, also Eternals. There was an Eternals spread that is similar to this, where they're standing on the rooftop and Icarus is flying up.
Right.
And then of course the weapons get bigger and bigger, and on both sides.
Yeah.
Escalate, and they New Genesis drops bombs to take out the huge fires that are on Apokolips.
All right. They're in the bunkers. Oh boy. There's Hegra.
Yeah, that's Darkseid's mother.
I think so.
Or his sister. Forget.
Yeah.
And we also have all the art for this whole issue,
Right.
and spotty photocopies.
Spotty photocopies. Yeah.
But just to mention that this page 10 was missing in the original art stack. Nobody knows what happened to it. It was just missing. Oh. And so the person who owns it had Mike Royer recreate this page so he could complete the issue.
So the person who owns all the other pages, hired Mike to create that page.
Yeah, which is kind of like an interesting story for me because of that I found out about this collector, and he gave me information. And Mike, back then there wasn't really nobody was on the internet. This is like 1997.
Right.
And that's when I first contacted Mike Royer through this person.
Right. Moving on.
And Metron here is, he wants this cube. What's it called?
Yeah.
Cube.
Oh, it's not the matter threshold, is it?
No.
X element. The X element.
X element.
Yes.
Yeah, the X element. So Metron's a scholar, and he's only interested in research and exploring things and curiosity. He doesn't take sides, so he uses that to build the Mobius chair that you see eventually.
Yeah.
And also I believe that's used also. Yeah, it's also used to make the boom tube.
Makes sense.
And Darkseid's the favorite of the family.
Because he just brings cheer to every room he walks in.
Well, it's one of the rare moments where you see him laughing.
True.
I can't think of another page where he's laughing. But
yeah, before the boom tube, before the technical wonders produced by Metron. Right. So they had to do all that. Oh boy. Yeah.
Yep, Darkseid's mama's boy. That's without a doubt. It is his mother.
Yeah.
And the war gets worse and worse. And then Darkseid sends Steppenwolf to battle New Genesis. And he's back in New Genesis. But this is, again, part of his whole plan to seize power.
Yeah.
because he knows that Isaiah is alive, and so does his troops. So they let Steppenwolf through so that the battle can start between the two of them.
Got it. Right.
And there it is.
Yeah.
Which is also the cover.
Right. The Risen Dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Darkseid does laugh on Mr. Miracle 8. I remember that at the last panel. That's great.
Thanks, Lynn. Lynn on YouTube, for all you folks not on YouTube who don't know what we're talking about, but well, we show it, right? So that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they fight.
So he kills him, and then he realizes that, and Metron's there. Like I said, he doesn't take sides.
Right.
And he realizes that he's just pawns of Darkseid.
Yeah, Darkseid's.
Because Darkseid had this all planned out. He knew that this would happen.
Yeah.
It's all part of his plan. And he wants to get rid of Darkseid in him.
Steppenwolf.
No, Isaiah.
Oh, Isaiah.
He wants to find Isaiah because he feels that Darkseid is part of him now, and he's doing his bidding, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. He wants to lead the people. He wants to find out who Isaiah is.
Yeah.
Leader.
Right. That's right.
So he walks off into, and this is a lot like like I always, this whole story parallels like the Bible and a bunch of other things, but he walks out into the desert like Christ did, and finds
who am I?
Who he is.
Yeah. He rejects.
Where is Isaiah? Isaiah.
He rejects the war staff as a weapon. I reject the way of war. And then what happens? Oh my gosh, the wall shows up.
The monolith.
It's the stone spirit. The new seed's gonna show up now. No, it's great. I mean, the wall shows up, and he just wants to know what his inheritance is if he's Isaiah the inheritor. And then he gets it. The Unifriend. That's the difference between, cooperation and battle.
Yeah, what is a Unifriend? It also reminds me of the Unimind in Eternals.
Yeah, that's right. And there's Darkseid and
his wife.
Tigra. Yeah.
Who was a arranged marriage. And she looks a lot like what Orion looks like when he doesn't have a mother box to make his face look like he's from the Genesis.
Right. Let's put an end to the events, to the war. Yeah, that's right. Charles, I quite agree. And then, no animation. It just pops up. So, see Jack's work there. Sound effect, waboom. It was lovely. Yeah.
So they make an exchange, scot-free for Orion.
Yeah.
And scot-free is brought through the boom tube or whatever device, I forget.
Whatever that is, yeah.
And sent right to Granny Goodness to the orphanage.
Right.
And Darkseid, of course, doesn't want to have anything to do with either kid. It's not in his plans. And then Orion gets sent to New Genesis and tries to kill Highfather, who now has a staff instead of a war rod, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so he agrees to not kill him, basically.
Yep. Thus it began. And then we'll be back for another great issue. The death of Terrible Turpin.
Right. And we saw Terrible Turpin in one of the, 1 or 2 issues ago?
Yeah.
1 issue ago.
Yeah.
Any other questions, anyone? Oh, we have the backup story.
We have the 2-page backup with Viking.
This one, unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your point of view, was inked by Coletta.
Yeah, it's interesting. And
the guy on the top looks like a Disney character from, Sleeping Beauty or something.
I know. He's very, very, very animated, like dwarf or elf or something. Yeah. But we do have photocopies. So
thank God.
It's fun to have a photocopy of a Vinny ink job. I mean, even you could just see, Jack put this little notch in. Nah, no notch.
There's also something on the top head of that little Munchkin guy. See that thing?
Yeah.
It's totally not there. Which makes him look a little more kind of like a god or something unique. Right. Whereas on the right, it doesn't look as unique without it.
Yeah. But there it is. What an amazing issue. Letter from Sheldorf.
Oh, really? There's a letter in there good.
And I guess that is it. So we've taken our tour through our 3 issues. There's a lot more to talk about certainly about the Pact. So as we were saying, we'll probably work something out.
But after we finish this,
you
can't fit that in here.
September, November, Christmas time is, I think.
Yeah, I think Christmas time is a good idea.
Yeah. So, thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate it. You're coming by. We will continue this series and do our best to get through as much of the Fourth World as we can this summer. Death Wish of Terrible Turpin, can't wait. One of my favorites. Just really great Jack Kirby Fourth World comics. Like, what a wonderful thing to be able to. That's right, Pete. I'm with you. Anything else? No, I can't think of anything. Just please, go to our website and see if you'd like to buy one of our T-shirts or a print. We have a book. We have a
donation, or become a member, or follow us on Twitter or Facebook,
and
Instagram, and
So we really appreciate everybody joining us, and send us your letters.
Yeah, mail them.
Send us your letters. I'll give you my fax number in a minute.
You can send a messenger if you're local.
Page me at. But anyhow, it's been great. Thanks, Tom. Really, really great.
Thanks, Brad.
We will continue on with the job. All right.
Yep.
Okay, folks.
Thanks, everyone, for
attending.
All
right.